Welcome to the George FTTV YouTube channel. Today we'll discuss a team update. So not a lot has changed, so I won't go over every single player or go over that too much. Just a few changes and a bunch of topics I want to discuss today as well. So a little bit unstructured, but I want to go over a lot of the things that I've recently researched or news. For example, we'll touch on Petrarca and Dacos injuries. I've done a bit of defender research on the rookies that we have. Also, discuss Coleman and Mills, midfield rookies, and the value mids. I want to touch on. Also want to speak about Shrek and Flynn, and then a few forward rookies as well. So, in terms of the team update, also I've got a second screen to the right of me, and it's got a list of, just so I don't get too sidetracked, of everything I wanted to speak about. So in terms of an update, I did have Petrarca. He's gone now due to injury. I wasn't 100% sure on Petrarca anyway, so I think it's sort of on the fence, and now that decision's been made for me with the rib injury. I don't know how long it's going to be. Maybe he'll be fine, but I think I'll just sit that one out. Plus, you do worry about Melbourne a bit. And then Nick has plantar fasciitis. I think I would jump ship, certainly, especially with the buy. I wouldn't be paying that price, but look, maybe he comes good and he's 100%, see how he goes. So, with the buy, I probably wasn't interested anyway, but you always, not owning Nick Dacos would kind of suck either way. So, just need a bit of patience for the tag games. But defense, I think, has stayed the same. I've added Keane Coleman. So, looks like I've heard more positive things on Twitter. I think DR posted a video of Danny Daly. If you've seen that on X, just about Kitty will be ready for practice matches, which means he should get a good run up to round one. So that's positive. It's a really strong 22 at Brisbane. I don't even know how Levi's getting in, but I think he's just too good not to be there. Even seen maybe they drop Zach Bailey or something. So, which would be crazy because he's all right. So, it's looking at the best 22 at Brisbane. It's tough to crack. So I added Kitty Coleman. I've added Butters. I can't remember if I had Butters before, but wasn't super interested in the 600k bracket in the midfield. If it was anyone I was going to pick, it's probably Butters. Bond's probably just an extra 30, 40k is a bit tough to find. I don't mind Sarong either. I like Sarong. If he doesn't get attention early, he'll just go. He can do 120 plus comfortably, I think, but I did own him last year, and he did get a lot of attention throughout the back half of the year. So expect that to come. But if he doesn't get that, he'll be a great pick, I think, or a reasonable pick at that price. Still got Oliver. I think I had Ashcroft last time. I still got him. Sherry de Koning. I can't remember if I had Flynn or not, but I think my confidence levels on Flynn have wavered a bit from what I've read. Forward line stayed exactly the same. So flex spot, I think used to be, maybe it was Flynn, I can't remember, but it's whatever. We'll discuss that after. So defenders, how's the defense shaping up? How deep in defense do we go in terms of, how many rookies are we exposing on the field? It's probably too early to tell. I've done some research on Travalia. Watching his highlights, pretty impressive. Just intercept after intercept, seems to read it really well. They are talking about, the Saints big footy board is pretty excited about Ari Schoenmaker this year from what it seems. So he seems to be training really well. Does he get that spot that Bonner had? I can't remember if Schoenmaker played late in the year, but Sinclair, Nas, Ari, is there room for Travalia back there? Do they just play him wing? I'm not sure. If he plays down back, I think I'll pick him. If he plays on a wing, I don't know if I want to fork out 170k for him, but I was pretty impressed with him. So it looks a good rook. And obviously, the Saints, Ross Lyon has spoken about getting talent into the club, and now that he's getting more of it, you'd think he plays that, but who knows? He did persist with a few older players for no reason last year. So, like I said, Ross, for example, or Zach Jones, but that's just my opinion anyway. So I did like Travalia's highlights. I've got James Leake here. So the Giants have two best 22 vacancies with Perryman and Isaac Cumming both leaving or departing the club. So league VFL numbers are pretty good. I think VFL. I'll just touch on this. I haven't actually looked at this, but I remember it was good from what I read. So these are leagues numbers. Zoom in a bit. It's already massively zoomed in, but yeah, as you can see here, a lot of 110 plus scores this year. I don't know if he was injured, but didn't play a lot. But yeah, I think this will be his second year. So yeah, drafted last year, I think. So yeah, this is pretty promising. I'm guessing maybe injured with this 37 here. I'm not sure, but yeah, pretty good 6-game stretch there of like 110-ish. So now that's a bit too zoomed in. So Leak could be one that we see, and he's versatile, so he can sort of play in a number of roles. So hopefully that vacancy goes to a rookie. Also have Connor Stone here, touch on him after. He's been playing halfback. Again, like rookies are whatever. We'll see what happens. Don't think too hard about rookies, but I do like doing a bit of background research on them. But yeah, Connor Stone previously, I think a third tall forward. Now they're trying him out in defence in the VFL. So maybe his forward here, kick some goals, and maybe move to defence around, I don't know, here maybe. Taking a lot of marks here, 7, 8, 15, 7, 7, 4, 7. So yeah, can take a few marks. Came on as a sub. Like, I don't think you can really read anything into that. 7 tog, 17% tog, like whatever. So Connor Stone, one to watch. Numbers look not too bad. So if he can be take like one of their roles down back or on the wing, might be able to score okay. But yeah, I think he was a high pick maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So see how he goes. But yeah, keep that in mind. And yeah, I do like the rookies that have been in the system a few years and their base price. Usually, they got a bit of an advantage on the draftee rookies in that they've been in the system longer, so more pre-seasons. So hopefully he can play. Bustlinger, I haven't actually looked at his numbers, but might as well just quickly check. I think this is his third year now, and he was a first round pick. Oh, this is good. 80, 90, and this is for is he third tall or key defender? I'm not 100% sure. These numbers are great because these are fantasy, very consistent too. Takes a lot of marks. This is a borderline fieldable for a D6. It's a pretty exciting rookie if we get him. So he can, first round pick, someone to watch. And Sada Hawley, I did watch highlights of him. Mostly of halfback. I think it was for Werribee, if I remember correctly. I don't know. One of those VFL teams. And seems to get a lot of handballs at the back. Handball receives, so thought he was okay. I was just watching highlights. If he plays, could he be sub? I don't know, could Leak be sub? Who knows? So again, it's see how they go over preseason. But maybe Nick Martin, he's training midfield at the moment. Nick Martin, I don't know if that's inside or outside, but I figure how good he was forward of the ball. It's a lot to give up when you take him out of that forward half role. So maybe Nick Martin plays a bit more of that role and opens a spot for El Hawley. We'll see how we go, but yeah, maybe like Nick Martin can sort of just play anywhere. I probably would have picked him if he didn't have the bye, but again, uncertainty on his role. Just think he just runs wherever he wants, so that is that. So there's the rookies that I have, El Hawley, Leak, and Bustlinger for now. Again, it could have changed like a week or two, and a few plays will pop up, but they read quite well in terms of their VFL numbers and whatnot. So those, feel free to chuck them on the bench at the moment. Callum Mills, Dean Cox holds the keys to a few picks, I think. Roberts, Mills, and Sheldrick, who I have in my flex spot at the moment. Mills, I guess the durability is always going to be an issue with him. How much you care about durability is completely up to you. I care probably a bit too much, but if they have a full preseason and there's a lot of value in the pick, even I'll take that durability risk. So full preseason, and we'll see what sort of role he gets. So I kind of don't want to pick him. I hope I can split him up into rookies and stuff, but if we get a lot of these good mid-rooks that I'll speak about in a second. But yeah, for pre-season, he'd have a chip on his shoulder after how badly his 2024 went. You'd think that he, captain, he's probably putting a lot of pressure on himself, you would think, to play well. But it was only a few years ago where he said he was sort of happy to play anywhere. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Dean Cox does to this team, because not doubting Johnny Longmire wasn't a great coach, but some of the positions he put some of his players in on the field were a little bit odd at times. And yeah, it seems every time they're drafted as a mid, they end up anywhere but the midfield. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's my defense. Sheasel, Sinclair, I think are pretty locked in. I think you could fade Sheasel if you think tags will come, just because of more of an ownership play, or more of an anti-pod play. I just think, yeah, he's just too good, and how can he not be top 6? So he's in for me. Dribble as well. Jordan Clark is just sort of there at a good buy, reasonable price. Only the 1 year of proven premium scoring, which for me is always a slight concern, but I think the value's okay, and that money saved helps enable the team. So that's enough on that. Midfield, still got Andy, 117 post-buy, and Butters, who I think he got subbed off once last year and played through a bit of groin soreness for a few weeks there, so it could be a little bit upside, but that's Butters. He does cop knocks, and tags will come. Got tagged a lot too, so he's my M1. His opening fixture is quite good. Collingwood, they could be injury depleted. I don't know, maybe we'll see. I've heard Perryman's not training either at the moment, so that's DeGoey, Dacos, and Perryman all limited. Richmond round 2. I mean, Essendon, he likes to play on. Saints, they could tag him. I guess Hawthorn could tag him too, but I guess the Richmond game, maybe even the Collingwood game, VC or C, I don't know what times of day they are, but I think the opening 3 fixtures are pretty good, so that's that, and he'll be in captain consideration for me if I do pick him. But yeah, only the one 600k plus mid. If I had to pick anyone else, you got Oliver and Ashcroft. In terms of paying, I'm still considering Sarong. I think LDU was in limited training a few weeks ago, or as he returned back from training after Christmas, but I'm not 100% sure. I know he had some sort of niggle, but it doesn't seem too serious. Tom Green, I probably pass with the buy. I don't mind Jordan Dawson. A lot of excuse games last year, but I can see the concern about his role and stuff like that. Rosie, yeah, I don't know. 530's like, I think he's fine pick for 530k, but you got Will Day here. Like with Day, I would rather just go like Rosie or Dawson for a bit more without the buy, more proven. And then this mid bracket of Chera, I guess Saligo maybe, but probably more Oliver, Chera, Ashcroft, Day, probably Parrish as well. Canelio and Callahan, if you really like them, or even Wardlaw. There's a bunch of players you can make a case for. At this stage, I like Oliver. Seems to be, again, similar to like Callum Mills, pretty wretched run last year with off-field stuff. Oliver was a bit of off-field as well, but in terms of injuries, like Callum didn't have a clean run, Oliver did not have a clean run, had all injuries in the preseason, whereas it seems like he's injury-free at the moment, unless something's happened. But I do worry slightly about Oliver, but I think it's hard to be any worse than last year when he was playing through knee soreness and pins in his hand and stuff like that. And just watching him play was a hard watch at times. Just wasn't fit, never got going. So Oliver's in until proven otherwise. So out of these players, like Chera and all that, all these players in that price range. Look, Chera did 108 a few years ago, so he's having a full preseason, been to Qatar. So he's looking good, but can his body stand up? I think I'll pass on Chera just because of durability. The upside's there, for sure. But just worry about durability, I think, too much. So I'll probably pass on that. But I think I don't mind the risk though, because he's pretty cheap. Parrish I won't touch. Just I don't think he should be best 22 in my opinion. Essendon supporters can tell me otherwise, but I firmly, from watching Essendon's midfield, he's on a big contract and they have to play him and they rate him. But yeah, I thought Durham Caldwell did a fine job, and it's just holding back the development of Sardis and maybe Hobbs too. So I'm not interested in Parrish, plus the endless soft tissue injuries. The one I have is Will Ashcroft, and pretty simply put, as we go CBA's Brisbane. So he did 82 off. I think this includes finals. So the CBAs would probably be, I don't know, 25 to 30, maybe 30-ish% CBAs, maybe just a tad under 30. Did 82 with no preseason, and that's where I look for upside. Role improvement and preseason. So full preseason. So yeah, coming off the ACL to a full preseason, and you would think some sort of increase in CBAs. He's going to get more than 30%. Is he going to get more than 50? I'm not sure. I think he will, but I'm not 100% sure. So for me, there's definitely upside here. The bye sucks so badly. The round 3 bye. I think it's round 3 where, shares with like Sydney and Geelong and like Baz. So that's 4 players out, plus maybe Levi and Ed Allen if they play too. So might be a little bit rough, but you hope that the money saved, you sort of make up for it. So I'm pretty keen on Ashcroft. He hasn't moved from my side for a while. Looking at his junior numbers as well, I think 34.5 touches a game in juniors. That's pretty rare. Don't see that. I can only think of 2 or 3 players that have had similar, which would be Dacos, Crouch. I think Tom Green was 33. There's one more in this case. I think Jagger was 34 as well. So, full preseason for him and role increase. So he's in for me. I haven't really thought about moving him, to be honest. But the only reason, if I had money, I could get him up to Dawson just because there's no buy and whatnot. But yeah, I think I'm quite happy to take Ashcroft until proven otherwise. So I'm happy with him. And yeah, Pete Ling, I think 50% to 60% CBA role, you should be able to do 90. So now there's a bunch of rookies I want to speak about. So yeah, this bracket for me, I like Oliver and Ashcroft basically. But if you like Cherry, you like Day, you like Parrish, you like Callahan or whatever, Wardlaw, whoever you like, just go for it. If you're really sold on them. But I like Ashcroft and Oliver. So in terms of mid rookies, there's a bunch of rooks. If we can go to, how do we search? We'll go under 220k. Sort by price. Interesting one to monitor. Ryan Marich is training in defense as like a third tall. So they've lost Barras, so maybe they'd make McGovern play more accountable, which he did at times, but not all the time. So yeah, they had Edwards, Barras, and McGovern. So maybe Marich can take one of those spots. I have no idea if he's going to excel in that role or not. He did play 19 games, but that's one to just keep an eye on. Sam Lawler, I don't think we'll pick. Lots of injury issues, plus forward time will probably be pretty high. So that's a no from me. Finn O'Sullivan, I've heard maybe training off halfback. Not a massive accumulator. So he's a pass for me at 200k. But that's, if he's playing halfback, I don't know exactly for sure if he is, but I've heard he has trained a bit there. So one to watch. Nathan O'Driscoll, I think is best 22 from what I've read. On the opposite wing to Sharp. Not 100% sure, but yeah, he can probably do in the 60s for 200k. It's not the worst. It's not the best. Maybe could push a 70. I'm not sure. One to monitor, but yeah. I didn't mind O'Driscoll a few years ago when he was a rook for us. Jagger Smith, 194k. Now, I think he'll play. It's always tough when you're a rookie and you're going up against 18-year-olds, maybe a few VFL players, and then how are you going to go against the best of the best? Like, how are you going to go against Lockie Neal, Caleb Sarong in the midfield and stuff like that? So I'm not sure on his role. In terms of fantasy prospect, he's probably top 5 fantasy prospect of the last 5 years in terms of his inside and outside game. So it'll be a good one for Carlton. So it's just how is he going to play early? I think probably. And what sort of role do they give him? Do they just make him roll off half forward? Because his outside game's pretty good. So that's. But yeah, he's on field for now. Ed Allen, again, with these Collingwood midfield injuries, do they make it to round 1? We'll see. Allen looked pretty good, and Nick Dacos, or in the last round last year, and Dacos has been talking him up. Levi, how does he fit into the 22? If he does, I think it'll be stiff if he doesn't make the 22, but I have heard he's had off-season shoulder surgery, so maybe temper the expectations, so one to watch. Nevitt, I was looking at his stats before. I was listening to the official podcast, and Dan Batten brought up Mitch Nevitt, and his last game was pretty big. 148 fantasy in his last game. 38 touches, pretty good. And he's had, a few 32 touches here, 27 touches here. Man, Chris Scott is always tough to trust, but I'll see how he goes. But yeah, 149k for someone who can get 38 touches in the VFL. I don't know if he's inside or outside mid. I know he played outside a few years ago, and I think in the VFL might have played inside. Yeah, just want to watch. I've got Hewitt and Erasmus here. I know Fife's gone in for a knee clean out. I don't think it's too serious, but I don't know if they don't play Erasmus. I feel like he's going to ask for a trade this year. So yeah, just want to watch. Ruck's Cherry Conning, they're staying for now. So I wanted to speak about a few more mid-rooks. Sheldrick's interesting because they've taken, I think, who was sub in the grand final? I can't remember if it was Parker or not, but Parker out of the 23. Does Sheldrick come in? Do they throw Mills in the midfield to take that spot? I've wondered, I know they rate Rowbottom, but would they be better off running Mills, Heaney, and someone else other than Rowbottom and Warner or Gordon? Because I think they can offer more than Rowbottom, but maybe Rowbottom has a specific role in there. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they could use a better midfield in that slot, but I guess it's all role for the team and all that. So Sheldrick can score no problem. Just see how he goes. He's had injuries and stuff, but yeah, Dean Cox might surprise us with a few selections, I think. And then the last rookie I was just reading about before, but Elijah Sardis, 191k. Again, Parrish, Cordwell, Durham, Merritt. So probably at best 5th in line for mid-time. He's their high pick. He's, I believe, 3rd year now. Same draft as Filippo. So yeah, he'll be coming to his 3rd year. Kicking has been an issue for him. That's pretty much the main knock. Inability to execute a drop punt consistently. But he can no doubt score. And if he's there round 1, he'll be hard to pass up because, yeah, junior pig. So that is that. And then in terms of the forward rooks, before we get to the rucks, forward rooks, spoke about Connor Stone before, Perryman and Cumming vacancy, and he's playing off halfback in the VFL. Davidson, mature age, I think medium to small forward, which I think the Dogs desperately need some sort of small forward there, so he's there for now. And reading a lot of positive talk on Dan Curtin in the Crows Big Footy training reports. So I think with Curtin last year, he didn't really have a proper go. He was limited pre-season, I think had a bit of a knee niggle that flared up a few times and was sort of thrown around. They didn't really know what to do with him. They were trying him as a key defender, which was odd because that's not how he was used, how he should be used. Certainly in his draft year, when he was not Waffle, Colts or whatever league he was playing in. Had more of a midfield role or flanker role, as far as I can remember. So they tried that key defender stuff, and now they're trying mid forward. And to me, I was really impressed with his work, sort of playing as a leading key forward late in the season, able to roam up the ground, take a few marks, but also take a few marks up forward. So I was really impressed with Curtin. How does he fit into the 22? It's going to be very tough to get mid minutes now that Peatling's in the team and whatnot. So, maybe he gets a little bit, but I did like him playing as that tall forward. And the problem with that is we have Walker, we have Thilthorpe, and Fogarty. So I don't really know how he fits into the team, but I would be pretty annoyed if he didn't play as many games as he could this year. So, moving freely, not injured at the moment. So that's the main thing. Proper preseason, unlike last year. So I'm bullish on him. Tom Lynch is there as well. The extra 50k, I don't know. You would think Lynch can do 60 plus, 60 to 70 maybe even more. Maybe like his range fully fit should be like 60 to 75, but Richmond he's older. Richmond are not that good, but it'll definitely make money. So it could be a bad miss if he has a few big games, but maybe we'll fit him in. I'm not too sure. Yeah, Elijah Hewitt in my midfield. So a few general thoughts there, and then in the rucks, not really considering anyone else, to be honest, except for Flynn and Darcy. It's probably out of those four. I'll just fix the filter. Looking at Fremantle's fixture, it's got Geelong, best matchup for Ruckman. Grundy, West Coast, he'll destroy. English, he'll pummel. Richmond, Nank's not too bad. Gorn, I guess, will be tough. But the opening few, having Flynn or BJ and I don't know, whoever Geelong run, is a ruck. I know Conway's in limited training at the moment. I don't know what's going on there, but I just know he's in limited training or managed or whatever. So the fixture's not bad for Darcy, and his price is not too bad either. I think priced at 98. I thought it would be less than that, but is that third ruckman in your flex spot? Is that how... I guess if you have a ruckman there, you're kind of locked into it unless you've got the full DPP. But I think a lot of us might just go the St Kilda rookie, Boyd, when he gets properly signed. So that would leave not a lot of flexibility in the flex spot. But having said that, having that extra ruck cover, and Darcy's buy is pretty good too. So he'll play all throughout the other buys, which will be handy. But I don't think buys will be a massive deal through the middle of the year for 2025. So thinking about Darcy, I'd have to give up a premium somewhere. Maybe it's Ashcroft with his buy. Go Darcy instead. And then we get some of these, I don't know, maybe Never plays, maybe Sheldrick, Sardis. Maybe we can fill out the midfield with these guys and load up everywhere else. That's what I was sort of initially thinking, which is why I didn't want to pay too heavily in the midfield. But it all just depends on what sort of roles these guys get and how they look. So it's tough for first year players, but you never know how they're going to go. They burn out and stuff. I think I did miss Sid Draper as well. I'm really excited about Sid as a prospect for the Crows, but apparently he's being held back a bit, which is never a good sign. And I know he's had back issues dating back to, I think, 2013 from what I've read. So, and even in his draft interview, he did mention that they'll see how he goes, what sort of approach they take with him. So he's been held back a bit. So I'm not against playing him, getting him right, easing him in through the SNFL, and then get him in as soon as he's right. So, so that's my team at the moment. I'd love to get rid of Mills and turn him into a few 200k rookies rather. And then, I don't know, do like a slight restructure, but we'll see how we go. But I think Bus, if he plays, maybe fieldable. I like these three rooks, but they just have to play. But worry about rooks after. That's it from me. Not sure what the plans are for next video, but I do enjoy doing these sorts of videos where you can just speak about what you've recently read about and talk about injuries and stuff that have come up or role changes and stuff. So sort of as we go, maybe opinions can change on certain players based on new information. But yeah, see how we go. But thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one.